Well, good evening. Welcome to this healing service at First Church of Christ Scientists in Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll open tonight by singing hymn number 123. How firm a foundation, ye saints of the Lord, is laid for your faith in his excellent word. What more can he say than to you he hath said? To you who to God for your refuge have fled, to you who to God for your refuge have fled. Hymn 123. I'll be reading from the Bible and the Christian Science textbook. But first, from the Bible, Isaiah. Who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel? And who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding? To whom then will ye liken God? Or what likeness will ye compare unto him? The workman melteth a graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over the gold, and casteth silver chains. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Exodus. And God spake all these words, saying, Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither their coats were changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Psalms. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he hath done. For he established a testimony and appointed a law, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, that they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. 2 Kings. The king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Lord. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord, to walk after the Lord, and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all their heart and with all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priests of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the grove, and for all the host of heaven. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. And he brought out the grove from the house of the Lord, without Jerusalem, unto the brook Kidron, and burned it at the brook Kidron, and stamped it small to powder. And the high places that were before Jerusalem, which were on the right hand of the mount of corruption, which Solomon the king of Israel had builded. And the king commanded all the people, saying, Keep the Passover unto the Lord your God, as it is written in the book of this covenant. 2 Corinthians. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty. Mark. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. And Jesus entered into Jerusalem and into the temple. And they come to Jerusalem, and Jesus went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and would not suffer that any man should carry any vessel through the temple. And he taught, saying unto them, Is it not written, My house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer? But ye have made it a den of thieves. And when even was come, he went out of the city. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into an house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. And she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said unto her, Let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. And she answered and said unto him, Yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And he said unto her, For this saying, go thy way. The devil is gone out of thy daughter. And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out, and her daughter laid upon the bed. Hebrews. God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the Majesty on high. Acts. Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God. whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worshipped with men's hands, as though he needed anything. Seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation, that they should seek the Lord, if happily they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. I shall also read from the Christian Science textbook, Science and Health, with Key to the Scriptures, by Mary Baker Eddy. The furnace separates the gold from the dross, that the precious metal may be graven with the image of God. The cup our Father hath given, shall we not drink it and learn the lessons he teaches? Jesus once said of his lessons, "My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God, or whether I speak of myself." John 7:16 and 17. Art thou dwelling in the belief that mind is in matter, and that evil is mind? Or art thou in the living faith that there is and can be but one God, and keeping his commandment? Man-made doctrines are waning. They have not waxed strong in times of trouble. Devoid of the Christ power, how can they illustrate the doctrines of Christ or the miracles of grace? A miracle fulfills God's law, but does not violate that law. The miracle introduces no disorder, but unfolds the primal order, establishing the science of God's unchangeable law. The Christian martyrs were prophets of Christian Science. Through the uplifting and consecrating power of divine truth, they obtained a victory over corporeal senses, a victory which science alone can explain. Stolidity, which is a resisting state of mortal mind, suffers less only because it knows less of material law. The Apostle John testified to the divine basis of Christian Science when dire inflictions failed to destroy his body. Idolaters, believing in more than one mind, had gods many, and thought that they could kill the body with matter independently of mind. Holy inspiration has created states of mind which have been able to nullify the action of the flames, as in the Bible case of the 3 young Hebrew captives cast into the Babylonian furnace. Divine science deals its chief blow at the supposed material foundations of life and intelligence. It dooms idolatry, a belief in other gods, other creators, and other creations must go down before Christian Science. It unveils the results of sin as shown in sickness and death. When will man pass through the open gate of Christian Science into the heaven of soul, into the heritage of the firstborn among men? Truth is indeed the way. What can be the standard of good, of spirit, of life, or of truth if they produce their opposites, such as evil, matter, error, and death? God could never impart an element of evil, and man possesses nothing which he has not derived from God. It is false to say that truth and error commingle in creation. In parable and argument, this falsity is exposed by our Master as self-evidently wrong. Disputing these points with the Pharisees and arguing for the science of creation, Jesus said, "Do men gather grapes of thorns?" Paul asked, "What communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial?" The divine origin of Jesus gave him more than human power to expound the facts of creation and demonstrate the one mind which makes and governs man and the universe. To obey the scriptural command, "Come out from among them and be ye separate," is to incur society's frown. But this frown, more than flatteries, enables one to be Christian. Losing her crucifix, the Roman Catholic girl said, "I have nothing left but Christ." If God be for us, who can be against us? When will the error of believing that there is life in matter and that sin, sickness, and death are creations of God be unmasked? When will it be understood that matter has neither intelligence, life, nor sensation, and that the opposite belief is the prolific source of all suffering? God created all through mind and made all perfect and eternal. Befogged in error, the error of believing that matter can be intelligent for good or evil, we can catch clear glimpses of God only as the mists disperse, or as they melt into such thinness that we perceive the divine image in some word or deed, which indicates the true idea, the supremacy and reality of good, the nothingness and unreality of evil. There is no power apart from God. Omnipotence has all power, and to acknowledge any other power is to dishonor God. The humble Nazarene overthrew the supposition that sin, sickness, and death have power. He proved them powerless. This awakening is the forever coming of Christ, the advanced appearing of truth, which casts out error and heals the sick. This is the salvation which comes through God, the divine principle, love, as demonstrated by Jesus. Jesus taught but one God, one Spirit, who makes man in the image and likeness of himself, of spirit, not of matter. Man reflects infinite truth, life, and love. Let's have a few moments of silent prayer, followed by the audible repetition of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Let's continue and sing hymn number 15. As gold by fire is tested, its purity shown forth, so cleansing fires of truth may prove to man his native worth. Hymn number 15. Well, welcome, and thank you for joining us this evening. As a branch of the First Church of Christ Scientists in Boston, Massachusetts, we joined the global community of Christian Science churches to express gratitude for the blessings that have come through prayer. Everyone is lovingly invited to join us for the Sunday service held here at 10:30 a.m. Classes for young people to the age of 20 are held at the same time in our Sunday school. Every Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m., we meet to hear readings from the Bible and the Christian Science textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. And participants share healings, experiences, and the abundant blessings of an enlightened understanding of our Creator. We are happy to announce the addition of online streaming of the Wednesday service through our new YouTube channel at FCCS Indy. During this transition to include an online option, our conference phone line is also still available. Details can be found on the bulletin board. Mary Baker Eddy has provided for the weekly testimony meetings in the church manual, where she cites the importance to glorify God and that it is more than a mere rehearsal of blessings and illustrates the demonstration of Christ. This meeting is now open for experiences, testimonies, and remarks on Christian Science. For those of you joining on YouTube, please use the Zoom meeting link included in the event details for the opportunity to share. Zoom participants are muted upon entry, so please unmute yourself when you are prepared to speak. Our virtual usher can assist you in the chat needed.
I'm very grateful to have been raised in Christian Science.
We're going to give you a mic.
Do you need it?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, for the online people so they can hear. Thank you.
I'm very grateful to have been raised in Christian science. My mother was a Christian Scientist, and her mother was a Christian Scientist, and knew Mary Baker Eddy. Her mother did. And I've been blessed many, many years with healings from Christian Science. I have 3 sons, and they're all involved in Christian Science. I'm grateful for that. And my husband is very, very involved. Matter of fact, he keeps me on track. So thank you for the readings. They were wonderful. And I'm very, very happy to be here.
Thank you.
I'm also grateful to be here this evening, and I appreciate the readings. The theme that came ringing through to me was those of that of idols and not worshiping idols, and the importance of that. And it got me to thinking about what our idols of today are, or that present themselves to us. We're constantly with 24-hour news around the world, constantly inundated with all kinds of messages in the television commercials that are promoting all kinds of medicines and fast cars and beauty products and any number of things. And it's, as I was sitting here, I was reflecting on that the more we're presented with those ideas, the firmer we need to be in our understanding that those things truly can be idols, are idols, that we need to denounce. And it's very easy to be lured into this false sense of a power apart from God, that happiness comes from anything other than the love and joy that God provides, that our health and our wealth and our happiness and our just entire being really is the reflection of God. And anything coming to our thoughts or anything presented to us that differs from that, we have to be very careful in guarding our thought against. I also heard the message of passing this knowledge on to the next generations. And I, like the first testifier, have been fortunate to have been raised in Christian Science with a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother before me, all practicing this Christ truth in our daily lives. I have siblings that maybe have not stayed with the teachings. I feel very blessed to continue in my study. I have children that were raised in this Sunday school who are choosing different paths at this time, but the base knowledge is still there. And I'm so grateful that they've had that. And I know it serves them daily, whether they pay attention to it or not. And we can continue to hold them in their proper place in the kingdom of heaven. So I appreciate the readings and the messages that you brought forward this evening. I'm very grateful to be here this evening with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for the mute button on the television. For every commercial that comes on, we mute every single one, unless we're in another room. But if we're in another room, the TV is usually off. But we are however that word, inundated with subtle messages in the commercials and in a lot of TV shows. I'm grateful that we have Christian Science that we can turn to, and the commandments that Moses gave us, God gave us, and Jesus proved and used those by listening to God's direction. and loving one another. I think that was his second commandment. But I'm grateful too for being raised in Christian Science as well, as the previous both testifiers before me had mentioned. I've mentioned several times that my grandmother is the one that brought us into Christian Science. And she was healed of appendicitis in early 20s, back in the early 1900s. She raised my mom and her sister and my mom's two brothers in Christian Science. And we also had a practitioner in our family that was a wonderful man. And I was very grateful for his help in a certain time in my life. He used to share with me that his teacher was taught by Mrs. Eddy. Never knew who that was, but I always thought that was very, very interesting. I didn't know anybody that knew her specifically, but that was close enough for me. I always held that in my heart of hearts and loved that idea that somebody in my family actually was taught by Mrs. Eddy, someone that was taught by Mrs. Eddy. So I am grateful for that, and grateful that my mom raised me and my two brothers in Christian Science. And we in turn have raised our two sons in Christian Science. And grateful that our one son is a member here, and our other son loves God, reads the Bible, shares a lot of things with his son, which is our grandson. And grateful that our grandson comes here once in a while to our Sunday school. So it's still, going through our family, part of our family. I'm grateful for that, and grateful for the good that Mrs. Eddy brought to the world. Grateful that I was able to visit her homes when I was 8 years old. It made such an impact on my life, and I'm grateful I did that. My mom and a Sunday school teacher and my brother and some of the Sunday school kids all went to Boston when we were kids, and it was a great time. So grateful for this science and for what it has done for mankind now and in the future. Grateful to be here too. Thank you.
I'd like to give my gratitude for those wonderful readings and for the previous testimonies. I would like to express my gratitude for a job that, well, not a job, a life that I had for a long, long time that helps me to maintain my patience, my strength, my trust, my faith, my belief, my understanding in Christian Science when challenges arise. And that way of life was Christian Science nursing. Helping Christian scientists during their challenges gave me courage and strength and happiness because I saw faith in action. I saw trust and happiness. And I have used that many, many times in my life when I am having a challenge because I know that God loves me and I know that others have put their faith and their trust and their love and their happiness in God. So apparently, I'm the young one here because I've only been studying Christian Science for about 35 years. So, but it's been the most wonderful 35 years of my experience. I cannot imagine doing anything else, studying anything else, trusting anything else. It has proved itself in my life. I was recently, just a few minutes ago, speaking with a friend who I told our family has always tried to implement and trust not my will, but thy will be done. And it has led us into many wonderful, wonderful experiences. So I will continue to do that. And I will continue to remain calm and trusting because I know that God's angels are out there and his messengers are present. So thank you for those wonderful readings. Thanks to the previous testifiers. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to thank everyone that came here this evening and shared your testimonies, people that have possibly tuned in online on YouTube or on Zoom. We're glad to have you. Let's close our service this evening by singing hymn number 12. Arise, ye people, take your stand, cast out your idols from the land. Above all doctrine, form, or creed is found the truth that meets your need. Christ's promise stands, they that believe, his works shall do, his power receive. Hymn number 12. Thank you and have a good evening. Good night.